Hi guys, welcome back to video number 5, beginner level. We will talk about 2 points perspective, and let's start with a quick recap from the previous video about 1 point perspective. So as you remember, I hope you watched this video. If not, feel free to visit my channel and watch it again. So what is 1 point perspective? 1 point perspective has one vanishing point, and just to remind you, the vanishing point is a point where the parallel lines appear to converge, and the number of and placement of vanishing points depends on type of perspective, such as 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, 3 points perspective, or multi-point perspective. So here I just placed 3 boxes, 3 shapes above the horizontal line. Let's do it again together with you. You can put any shapes in a space here. I would suggest as a beginner start with the simple forms like those squares and blocks, kind of. You can see when I put if I will put those shapes below the horizontal line, so we will see those blocks from the top. You will see the top surface of the object of the block or cube, and when you put above the horizontal line, we will see more bottom surface of the object. So they are kind of floating above the surface, above the ground surface. So yeah, as you remember, we talked about 3 basic rules, 3 basic types of perspectives: 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, and 3 point perspective. And there one more, multiply point perspective, that we will discuss later. And if you want to get more tips and more feedback, kind of more explanation, more detailed explanation about each of those perspectives, and also to touch on other topics, how to sketch and be very professional, represent your ideas, please follow my channel. Stay tuned to receive the link on my new course with all those detailed explanation, more deep discussion about perspectives, about shading, about materials, and other topics that will help you to be and to draw like professional designer. Okay, so at this moment I just want to create more bold lines to show you the result of recap on our first lesson about 1 point perspective. Again, 1 point perspective, it's a perspective with one vanishing point that you can put anywhere on horizon line, in the middle, left or right, and to connect corners of your objects with this vanishing point to help you to create 1 point perspective. Okay, let's quickly finish this introduction, just to remind to ourselves from the previous lesson. Okay, and now let's talk about two points perspective. What is a 2 point perspective? So 2-point perspective, it has two vanishing points. It's kind of obvious. Two vanishing points, which are right and left vanishing point. So left, right, and then from each of those points I draw those lines that in the future will help me to organize my object into the space and create the correct perspective of this object. So it's just kind of grid, left and right, from two vanishing points, that going left and right, the perspective going to left vanishing point and right. And here I can start to put my object into the air, kind of, and you can see different between one point perspective and 2-point perspective. So our object, it's not a front view square. So I started with vertical lines, and then because I have those so vertical line, and I already have supporting lines that going into the vanishing point to meet somewhere on the horizon line, like this. So you can see one object above horizon line, the second one below. It's the same as with the 1-point perspective. If you putting your object above horizontal line, you will see your object from the bottom, and if you are putting your object below horizontal line, you will see kind of normal position of the object that you are looking on top. You can see the top surface of the object. So here same, just connect the corner with one of the vanishing points there, like this. I would like to repeat 2-point perspective. It has two vanishing points, which are and left and right vanishing point. Okay. With a 2-point perspective, you will get the image composition with more natural view as compared to 1-point perspective. So most of the objects that we see around us, we kind of observing this object from 2-point perspective. Okay, as usual, let's make it a little bit bold to see the object floating there and standing here on the surface below. So those objects above horizontal line. So horizontal line, it's an imaginary line which appear across the picture and at the eye level. It's our eye level. Okay, a little bit more shading just to make it more visible. Then of course, as before, we can add some shading, shadow or reflection below the object. If you will do this shadow very close to the bottom line of this cube, it will look like the cube really stands on the surface. In my case here, the object, the float a little bit. So this is a horizontal line. Horizontal line, it's an imaginary line which appear across the picture, and at the eye level. Okay, looks good, and let's move on. Just to repeat to create clear understanding what is the 2 points perspective, left and right, 2 points that are sitting on a horizontal line. As you can see, I'll just create here some objects, 3 objects that are standing in line, and because of this perspective, the first object it's always the biggest one, and the last one it's smallest one, and those lines, perspective line, helps us to create proper perspective, proper proportions. If you want to know more about perspective and other topics, how to draw, how to sketch like a professional designer, please follow my channel. Look for link on a special course that will include all details, all tips about how to draw, how to sketch. So one more time, this time I will put object below eye level, below horizontal line, so the eye level will be below this line, and in this case we see our object a little bit from the top. You can see the top surface of those cubes. So that means the station point where we are standing and observing the object is a point below the kind of horizontal line. So the station point is a point of location where the observer views the image of the perspective. Okay, let's make some shadow there. Looks good. Yeah, as I mentioned, here those dimensions, they will become smaller and smaller. About all those details about proportions and how to actually calculate and create the proper perspective with proper proportions of specific objects and more complex objects, please follow my channel. Find the link on a special course that you will find more tips and more explanations about perspective and other topics that will help you to become a very good sketcher, drawer, and to sketch and draw like a professional designer. Okay, again some last touches to create more clean and bold lines like this. I want to remind you we are doing now 2 points perspective with 2 vanishing points. For some people who just join our lesson or scroll this video, vanishing point is a point where the parallel lines appear to converge, and the number and placement of vanishing points is determined by types of perspectives, such as 1 point perspective, 2 point perspective, or others. Okay, so here we have very strong perspective from the bottom, my object will float, and it looks like I am, as observer, standing almost below the floating object. Let's make one more from the different side. So you can see you can put those vanishing points in different positions, and if you create different perspective, different composition of the object in the space. So as you can see, I'm using different position of the object in the space, below the horizon line, above horizon line, to create different composition, to create different view on my object. So yeah, I hope you liked this video and find this video useful for you. If you want more deep explanation about perspective, about how to draw different materials, how to create presentable sketches, and in general about professional sketching, you can find a link that I will provide soon, so please stay tuned to find this link, and yeah, follow my channel, and most important, train yourself, make exercises, follow my channel, follow my sketches, and yeah, thanks again, see you next time.